we are back with more premium collection. So there are more reveals for the premium collection, and that means more videos from our channel. The cards with the red cross on them are the cards that we already have covered up. If you want to hear our thoughts on those cards, then you could look in the description section below. You could check those videos out. The cards with the smiley on them, the greeny, freaky, creepy smile, are the cards that we will cover in this video. So we start with one of the most interesting cards in this set, which is Gastille. Gastille has always have a special place in my heart because of the hideous way that he looked and also the way that he was presented in the anime. So Gastille, as in the grade 3, I always played him in my Charlotte deck, as you have seen from my Charlotte deck profiles. Like I have 3 or 4 maybe Charlotte deck profiles on our channel, and this ride is just really good. So first let's go into his skill, and after that I will tell you my thoughts. But the first skill, which is a Vanguard skill, is an auto ability. When a card is put into your soul, all of your units in the front row gain extra 3k. It's an auto ability, so it will activate each time a card is put into your soul, which is like a during the thruster, but for your front row. The old during the thruster, but for your whole front row. One note, which is very important, it's not a continuous ability. So only the units that you have in the front row will gain the extra 3k. So when you do that with dices or anything, keep in mind to do it good, because if you switch between the front row and back row, the unit that you move back that was in the front row will keep the power, and not the unit that you have in the front row will gain the power. That's very important if you want to recall new units, or if you're using like a stand triggers to restand them, or master the 5th element or anything. Which will come right to the second ability, which is a counter blast of 2, and turn a card face up in your G zone, and then you search your deck for up to 2 cards and you put them into your soul, and this card gains those 2 abilities. Okay, that does sound insane, but before you jump into strange situations, you have to keep in mind that he copies only the Vanguard abilities because he's on Vanguard. Although this card makes an interesting deck building. Now you could run like a lot of one-offs and go for this card like 3 times in a row or 4 times in a row and keep going for him. You could make a deck that works only for him, and depending on the deck that you're playing against, depending on the situation, you could go for different scenarios, because you can make so many different combos, especially with the grade 3s. You could just look through your old cards and take some grade 3s. But the fun thing is, or actually the strange thing is, that mostly people will find a combo or 2 and they will stick to that because of consistency. For me, I will make some crazy combos with this card. One of the cards that you will see a lot is NLK. NLK will be good in this, and with combination with this card, because you could still rewrite using NLK skill, and then you get an extra protect marker, and then also you get some extra attacks, and you're getting rid of your rare guards that are on the field, because you would rather have them in your soul than have them on the field to get locked. But you could also use it with Blade Wings. You could use it with the Amon Legion. You could just Legion with this card because it does still activate. Like if you target Amon, the Legion Amon, and then Amon Leader, I think his name was, but you target him and you target NLK, you put those into your soul, then activate the skill of the Legion to search Amon from your deck, Legion with it, then this card would Legion with an Amon. Then you attack with that Legion, get more crits, retire power, and also a lot of power as a Vanguard. You still have triple drive, and at the end of the battle, you could use an LK skill to cut blast 1 and get something from your soul, rewrite it, and that what you rewrite could be a Blade Wing for defense, it could be anything else that has a lot of power, it could be another NLK. There are a lot of loops that you could do. I mean, you could do 2 half loops of NLK and still have a strong attack with this card. Yeah, it's really good. I do like this card a lot, and I think it's very interesting. I don't think that Bushiroad went too far designing this card. I think it's good. It's definitely good for Dark 2 regulars to have a stride that they would have to think about what and how they build their decks and how to get out of those situations that this card could help. There are a lot of downside to this card as well, because you cannot use rearguard abilities. He does not soul charge that much, he soul charges only 2, so as a first stride, normal people maybe would go for Balam, because Balam is still in some situations better, and you also don't want to go into him way later in the game, because you still need kind of a Blader Mouse skill to put those cards back to your deck. So of course there are good and bad things to this card, but in my opinion, definitely one of the best strides that we have till now, and this is what makes this set interesting. Not strides like the one that we have got for Angel Feather, no, definitely not, because that was just a heal 2, counterblast 3, discard a card. That's just nothing in comparison to this card, which is Gastille. Alright, enough about the Gastille, let's go into the next, which we have 2 progenitor dragons that are pronounced. Alright, or announced. Wow. Okay, we know that the first 2 skills are the same for all their progenitor dragons, so I'll not go into those. So we still have the important ability that you could strike for free till the end of that game if you go for this card. So what does this card do? Well, when it attacks, you pay the counterblast, and then you increase or decrease the power of your opponent's Vanguard to 0, or opponent units to 0. Alright, it's definitely the Dimensional Police skill, because we have seen that in the different cards that do that from Dimensional Police. But how good is this card in this nation? First of all, let's talk about Dimensional Police, because this card is originally have a Dimensional Police skill with in Link Joker art. That's how I see this card. Okay, Dimensional Police. This card in Gallop is really good. Like, you still have your second Gallop grade 3, which get an extra 4k and a crit whenever your Vanguard attacks. He's an 11k, which makes him a 15k. A 15k attacking on a 0 is the perfect number. So that's just amazing. Your opponent would have to guard him, or I mean this card, and then guard those Rearguards with at least a 20k. If you don't put triggers on them, if you don't boost them, you will make them even better. But again, just only the 15k attacking your opponent's Vanguard is still a lot of power, and you're not losing anything. The cost is only a counterblast, and you get to strike for free after that, which is amazing. You still need that in DP. I mean, that will give you opportunity to rewrite multiple times to get your force markers, and do not have to depend on stride folders or grade 3s to have in hand. But when we think about other clans, let's say Nova Grapplers, then this card is also very interesting. Why? Yes, I know, people would just say, why, D-Boy? Why do you think this card is interesting for Nova Grapplers? Well, because of the timing that this card has when activate its ability. The thing is, it doesn't say on place counterblast 1 and your opponent's Vanguard becomes 0. It said when this unit attacks, which means that you could go into this card with Nova Grapplers, you attack with some of your Rearguards until your opponent gets a trigger, defensive trigger, then you attack with this card, and then you put them back to 0, which is a hard thing for your opponent because they just got a trigger, they are on 22 or 23, and you put them back to 0. That's just 25 more shield that they would have to give for all of your other attacks. People could also just attack with him first, or her, because it's, I think, a her. Attack with her first, with it, and then attack with the Rearguards. It's also a possibility, but I think you should take advantage of the timing that this card gives you when the skill activates. That's my opinion. We talk about Messiah. Messiah has some, let's say, multi-attacking options, which this card makes multi-attacking better. But the problem is, I think Messiah needs the Vanguard that unlocks their stuff. Like, to be able to get into the multi-attacking option, you need to unlock, and most of your Rearguards, they lock themselves so that the Vanguard could unlock them, and then you have the multi-attacking option. But again, you also have some Rearguards that do unlock. So it depends on the build that you play. You could use this card in that build, but for deleters, nah, you have a better strides or grade 3s that could delete. Then deleting is definitely better than putting your opponent at grade 0 or power is 0. So yeah, I think this card is amazing. Also, you could just attack the Ragars because they are also 0. So that's a very, very, very good skill in my opinion. And last but not least, My Nation Stride. This is good for spikes and direct regulars because I play both of those clans. But before we go into that, let's read the ability. So this card has the ability, which is when placed, you counter +1. Your opponent chooses the same number of Ragars as the number of open Ragard circles you have, and they retire those Ragars. If they retired 3, then you soul charge 5 and you draw a card. So how good is this in the nation, in the clans that are in that nation? First, let's talk about Gear Chronicle. As some of you guys know, I still think that Gear Chronicle does not fit in the Dark Zone. They should have been with the other strides in this nation, in the space nation, let's say. So Gear Chronicle being in this nation, this stride does nothing for them. Gear Chronicle already had field control. Gear Chronicle could stride for free. Gear Chronicle do not want to soul charge 5, and Gear Chronicle would use any other stride or any other stuff to draw cards if they need to. There is no reason to waste a counterblast on this card and soul charge 5 of your deck, which is cards that you want to have in your deck as a toolbox and you don't want to take out. So if we think about Gear Chronicle being in this nation with the space other clans, then they would definitely benefit from this mini dust stride because this gives them the extra crit. This puts your opponent's Vanguard to 0, which means that you could just attacking tiny stuff and just go berserk on their Vanguard and Regards if you want to. So how about Pale Moon and Dark Regulars? First of all, Pale Moon. Some people would say Pale Moon does not want to soul charge 5 because they want to know what they have in their soul. I think that this is a good thing for Pale Moon. Maybe do Pale Moon have some kind of a field control, like with the old Hurry Stride and some of their abilities, but mostly they do not, which means that they could use this card as field control. The extra soul charge, which is soul charge 5, is actually good because depending on the build that you play, sometimes you have some abilities that need soul, so that extra cards that you have in your soul doesn't matter. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but in the most situations I think the soul charge 5 is a good thing. The draw card, why not? You're plussing. I don't really think that I don't know if there is another stride for Pale Moon that could plus. I think this is the only one. Just plussing by a draw card. So I think this is definitely a good card for Pale Moon. For Dark Regulars already have pretty good field control, as from Balam, from their grade 3s that they have got, and some of course grade 1 and grade 2s that could retire as well. But most importantly, this card does have the soul charge and does keep you with or leave you with an ability that said you can stride free. So for Darks, the soul charge 5 is good as well. It's definitely not bad, but the problem is you cannot stride into this later on in the game because this does nothing for Darks. This could just be their first stride if they don't want to go into Balam, so they go for this card. The skill, on the other hand, to retire 3, you will not get that always, let's say. So if your opponent, keep in mind that you have a card like this in your deck, then they will not put 3 Ragars on the field. But if you play against like Gold Paladins, you play against Ezo, then this card is amazing. Just destroy their field, draw an extra card, soul charge 5, and leave you with a very good setup for next turn. So I think, yeah, definitely good. When we talk about Spike, I will not go into that in this video because that would make this video very, very long. So if you're very interested to know what I think about this card in Spike, then I will make another video to talk about Force 2 and this card and Violence Ace. So I will think about how I will arrange that talk about Force 2 in a different video, Discord in a video, and Violence is another video. But again, if you are already very interested in that, keep a comment in the comment section below and I will try to answer you with the link whenever I update the video. Or you could definitely always subscribe to our channel and click on the notification button, so the button right there, so you could know whenever we have a new video, because it's very important. Some of you guys have asked me on Facebook a lot on whenever we update a video that they do not know that we're updating it, and I have to send them the link, which I don't really mind, but if you click on the button then you will get a notification whenever we update a new video. So thanks for watching guys, stay tuned for more videos, until next time.